Hello friends, welcome all of you. In this lecture we are discussing on the topic which is related with the skill development. You know very well this is the additional course for you. Already in last two videos we are discussed regarding introductory part of chromatography, that is syllabus of skill development, along with the one technique, that is thin layer chromatography, in detail. In this lecture, now we want to discuss about the second type which is related with your syllabus, that is paper chromatography. In short, the paper chromatography, also known as PC, right? What is a PC or what is a paper chromatography? We will definitely discuss in a detail in this about the paper chromatography. Suppose you think about a paper chromatography, this technique is introduced in 1944, okay, for the separation of amino acids. Okay, particularly it is used for separation of amino acid or a protein part, right? Different kinds of amino acid are separated by using paper chromatography. In the paper chromatography, what points should be covered in this lecture? Introduction of a paper chromatography, then second one, stationary phase used in a paper chromatography, mobile phase used in a paper chromatography, principle of paper chromatography, then steps used in paper chromatography, and last one, applications of paper chromatography, right? So let's start the topic. First of all, regarding paper chromatography, this paper chromatography is a simple chromatographic technique which is usually used in laboratory for the separation of different amino acids. Okay, in the paper chromatography, particularly paper is used as a stationary phase or support material. You can also say that it is a stationary phase or a inert support material, no any problem, because in paper chromatography we know that paper consists of a cellulose adsorb water molecule, right? Naturally in paper, cellulose molecule adsorb water molecule, and this cellulose which adsorb a water molecule, near about 20% of water molecule adsorb on the surface of cellulose, okay, and this is the stationary phase used in a paper chromatography. That means the adsorb water on the cellulose is used as a stationary phase in paper chromatography. Therefore, it is partition type of chromatography because water is used as a stationary phase, okay, in this chromatography, right? That means if you think about the principle of this type of chromatography, that means paper chromatography, the principle says about the paper chromatography is that it is a partition type of chromatography, definitely because water, that is liquid, is used as a stationary material or stationary phase. That liquid though adsorb on the surface of cellulose, that is paper is act as a supportive material here, right? Then the principle says that it is a partition type of chromatography in which stationary phase is a liquid, right? And mobile phase is also a liquid. You know that water is a highly polar solvent, right? Water is a highly polar solvent. Therefore, whenever you use paper chromatography, then less polar solvent should be chosen as a mobile phase, right? And separation of a component of a solute are taking place according to partition coefficient or partition phenomenon. That is, the component of a solute, analyte, which are strongly having affinity towards the polar phase, that is water, stationary phase, will less move by the mobile phase, while the non-polar compounds or non-polar components of the solute which having less affinity towards the polar stationary phase will be strongly moved by the non-polar mobile phase. Okay, on this simple phenomenon, the principle or working of paper chromatography is taking place. Along with this partition coefficient, sometime hydroxyl group of cellulose, paper, hydrogen bonding phenomenon also taking place by some components of the solute, right? This is also a principle of separation. Again, ion exchange. Ion exchanging also taking place in paper chromatography. Therefore, paper chromatography can work on the principle of partition coefficient, hydrogen bonding and ion exchange or adsorption phenomenon too. Right? Because paper is a good absorbent. Right? Okay. That means in paper chromatography, separation can be achieved by using partition coefficient. Second one is hydrogen bonding. Third one is ion exchange or adsorption desorption phenomenon too. Okay. This is sufficient about principle of paper chromatography. This paper chromatography having a type, ascending type of paper chromatography or descending type of paper chromatography. We will discuss laterally. Right? Again, 2-dimensional paper chromatography and 3-dimensional paper chromatography. Okay, these are the different types or different techniques of the paper chromatography. Okay, now next point related with the paper chromatography is stationary phase. Stationary phase in PC. Right? Already as per our discussion, in paper chromatography, water molecule adsorb on the surface of paper or act as a stationary phase. That means stationary phase is a liquid in nature. Right? Okay. The cellulose near about 20% H2O molecule naturally adsorb. Okay. And this layer is act as a stationary phase. Okay. For the PC or paper chromatography, a proper size of paper which is specially developed for paper chromatography, okay, is available in the market, or you can choose Whatman 40, 41, 42, or a paper which is simply designed for the paper chromatography with proper size can use as a stationary phase. For 2-dimensional paper chromatography, size of a paper is near about 5 by 30 centimeter, while in 3-dimensional paper chromatography, paper size is near about 30 by 30 centimeter. Right? Okay. Sorry. 1-dimensional paper chromatography, size of a paper, extremely sorry. 1-dimensional of paper chromatography, size of a paper is near about 5 by 30 centimeter, and in 2-dimensional paper chromatography, size of a paper is chosen near about 30 by 30 centimeter. Right? This is about the stationary phase, and stationary phase is a water molecule, therefore it is highly polar in nature. Right? What about mobile phase? Okay, mobile phase. Because of a stationary phase is highly polar in nature, therefore mobile phase is chosen. A single solvent or mixture of 2 to 3 solvent are chosen, okay, which is less polar than that of stationary phase. Therefore, you can here write a single liquid or mixture of 2 to 3 solvents. You can also say solvents, okay, which are less polar than that of water molecule, are chosen for the mobile phase in paper chromatography, chosen as a mobile phase in a paper chromatography. Right? This solvent or mobile phase should possesses some characteristics. Which are some characteristics? First, mobile phase composition should not be changed with the time. That is, in mobile phase, you should use a constant composition during the separation of whole paper chromatography. Solvent chosen, if mixture of a solvent is chosen, solvent, one of them solvent should not be highly volatile, so that composition continuously change. Second one, solvent should be inert, that it does not show any side reaction with the analyte or with the paper component too. Right? Then polarity of a solvent should be adjusted. Then solvent should not be highly flammable. Okay, these are some characteristics. Okay, you can read, you can search on a Google too, no any problem. Okay, it is sufficient for. Mobile phase should be less polar. This is most important because water is a highly polar solvent. mobile phase should be with constant composition, then it should be give a proper separation. Okay, that component of a solute or mixture should be separated from each other. Okay, from each other, so that it can be distinguished by using paper chromatography. Otherwise, that solvent is not important. Okay, polarity should be matched. Okay, polarity should be adjusted. Okay, by using some polar and non-polar composition. Okay, in the technique of paper chromatography, suppose you want to use the paper chromatography. Here we simply think about one-dimensional paper chromatography. Okay, which are the steps used in a one-dimensional paper chromatography? In the one-dimensional paper chromatography, the stationary phase, that is paper, having a size 5 by 30 centimeter is chosen. Is a strip of Wattmann 40, 41, 42, or simply paper designed for the paper chromatography is chosen with the proper size 5 by 30 centimeter. Right? Suppose say this is a proper size paper is chosen having 5 centimeter width and 30 centimeter height. Okay. From this bottom of paper, from 2 to 3 centimeter, we mark by pencil a baseline. Okay, this is necessary. When this paper is deep inside the mobile phase, this baseline should be at the upper side. Okay, from the level of mobile phase. Okay, this is the baseline. I am writing here baseline. Okay, when you apply the sample, okay, mixture or analyte in the form of solution in volatile solvent, okay, by using fine capillary, okay, at the center of paper, assuming a circular drop or circular size, concentrate at least 1 to 2 times, at least 2 to 3 times that component of mixture or analyte in circular shape at the center of this baseline. While putting the sample on a baseline or a paper, care should be taken that this diameter should not be exceeded by 1.5 millimeter. Okay, not a big drop like this. This is wrong. Simply a drop is provided or given. Okay. Then suppose you want to give this drop of a standard, you can also, by putting the sample components at the center of baseline, wait for few seconds so that solvent will be volatile off. Solvent will be volatile off and you get only solute component here. Now this paper, we are now talking about ascending type of paper chromatography. In ascending type of paper chromatography, mobile phase is moved opposite to the gravity action via capillary action of the paper. Okay. Then take a jar with the proper height, proper size. In that jar, a liquid mobile phase is placed. Okay. Jar is closed so that there is a saturation of vapors, okay, of this mobile phase in this container. Slowly take this paper and insert in this container. Okay, so that your baseline is at the upper side of this mobile phase. It is not deep in the mobile phase. Then close the container. Okay. By the capillary action, solvent molecule will travel opposite to the gravity slowly on the surface of paper. Here, according to partition coefficient, separation is taking place. Now, components of a mixture get separated from each other. Wait for few minutes so that the rate of a solvent or rate of a mobile phase is much slower on the surface of paper. Okay, that gravity opposes now the traveling of a solvent on the surface of paper. Stop, okay, and remove the paper outside to the jar. By pencil, mark say up to here, suppose sample is a travel, this is our baseline. Okay, this is called as development of chromatogram. Now, identify the location of a spot. Location of a spot is identified by physical means or chemical means, as already discussed, like in a thin layer chromatography. The location of a spot can be identified by simply putting this paper after drying in the UV chamber, so that fluorescence or phosphorescence phenomenon is observed. So you can observe the location of a spot by coloring, okay, by observing color of due to the fluorescence in UV light, or by using iodine chamber, by putting this paper inside the iodine chamber, so that complex is a form, colored complex is a form which is visible by our naked eye, so that we can observe the paper. Okay. Then by using some sprays like ninhydrin, so that it can form a complex with the separated component, and you can identify the location of a spot easily. Okay. These are the physical and chemical means to locate the spot. Okay. In ascending type of chromatography, last step is RF value. Okay. Last step is RF value. What is RF value? It is a retardation factor. It is distance travel by solute. I am writing here in short. Distance travel by solute from baseline. Okay. Suppose distance travel by solute from baseline to the distance travel by solvent from baseline. Okay. By knowing the RF value, by finding the RF value, that is the ratio of distance travel by solute from baseline to the distance travel by solvent from a baseline, you can find RF value. By measuring RF value, by comparing RF value, you can say whether the separation of a component is taking place or not. Okay, this is simple. In descending type of chromatography, first step is the same as ascending type of chromatography, that is this chromatographic plate is prepared, or paper is prepared, okay, with the proper size, that is 5 cm by 30 cm. Okay, baseline is taken, spots are given at the center of this baseline. In ascending type of chromatography, containers are specially designed, okay, so that it contains a tray at this upper side which can hold the mobile phase, liquid mobile phase. Okay. Now, descending, this is the descending type of paper chromatography. Okay, descending type of paper chromatography. Now, this paper is taken, the spots, the side on which spot are given, take at upper side, okay, and insert the paper in such way that it is by using hook, okay, by using attachment of hooks, insert this paper in this mobile phase such that only the lower portion other than this baseline is immersed inside this mobile phase. Now, liquid by the capillary action travel in a descending manner on the surface of this paper like this. Okay, this is the baseline suppose. Okay, and descending order, mobile phase is the travel on the surface of stationary phase. Okay. Now, development of chromatogram is completed. Wait for some time so that solvent is a travel. Okay, sometimes solvent is a travel up to this level too. Then remove that paper from the container, dry it. Now, location of a spot. Location identification of a spot is done already as like in a descending type of ascending type of chromatography, no any problem. Now, in only the reference inside the RF value. In descending type of chromatography, RF value is not a significant term. Okay, it is not a valuable term. Instead of RF value, we are calculating here RE value. Okay, we are calculating here, sorry, RG value. Okay, in the RG value, in descending type of chromatography, while putting the sample component, a standard, generally glucose is a use. Okay, generally glucose is a use as a standard. Okay, and development of chromatogram is done. Now, this glucose, the distance after separation, the distance traveled by this standard component from baseline is a measure. Okay, and the distance traveled by solute component from baseline is a measure, and ratio of these two factors is calculated, and this ratio is called as RG value. This is distance traveled by solute from baseline to the distance traveled by standard from baseline. This is the RG value, because here RF value is not a useful or valuable term, right, in descending type of chromatography, not in ascending type of chromatography. RG value, here generally glucose is used as a standard. The distance traveled by the standard from baseline is a measure, and distance traveled by the solute component from baseline is a measure, and by taking ratio of distance traveled by solute from baseline to the distance traveled by solvent, standard from the baseline is a measure, and that is called as RG value, and it is used now for the identification purposes, right. In two-dimensional paper chromatography, actually this is not a much importantly used. Okay, in two-dimensional type of paper chromatography, a paper size of 30 by 30 centimeter in a square manner is chosen. It is 30 by 30 centimeter, and imaginary baseline or pencil baseline is there. Okay, spot is applied at the center of this baseline and traveling in ascending manner. Okay, again paper is a move. Okay, paper is a circulate, and again development is done. Two-way or two-side development of same chromatogram is done. Therefore, it is called as two-dimensional type of paper chromatography. Okay. Then application of paper chromatography. Generally, paper chromatography is useful for separation of amino acids or biomolecules. Generally, right? This is sufficient about the paper chromatography. Make your own notes, right? If you have some query, again I told you, refer the reference book. Okay, instrumental methods of analysis by R.D. Brown, instrumental method of analysis by Skoog. Okay, you can use these two references for the chromatography. They are sufficient for your syllabus, right? If suppose you have query, ask me. Okay. Now, in skill development, under the skill development, we have completed thin layer chromatography and the second one paper chromatography. Okay, along with the stationary phase, mobile phase, instrumentation, so not the instrumentation, theoretical part, okay, steps in a paper and thin layer chromatography and application of paper and thin layer chromatography, right? So, thank you all of you.